In this example, we're going to be finding the least common multiple of a pair or up to 3 given numbers. And we saw in the packet that we're going to have a method. This is our first method of finding the least common multiple, or the LCM. So let's highlight. LCM stands for least common multiple. And our method is listed down here, and it's similar to what we did in the milk and peanut butter problem. So to find the LCM of 2 or more numbers, we're going to make lists of the multiples of the given numbers separately until the 2 lists share a common multiple. So this could be a part that you don't really know how far out you have to go, how many multiples you have to find till you get a common multiple. We'll learn a little bit more about that later, but you're just going to make your list long enough until they each have a common multiple, and then find the smallest multiple they have in common. So let's start with 4 and 6. So I'm going to put a 4 with a colon, and then I'm going to list some multiples of 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and now I'm saying this in terms of multiples. It's the same idea as skip counting. If I add on 4 more, that's going to be 3 4s, which is 12, 4 4s, which is 16, and I'm going to list, I don't know, about 8 of them maybe. Add 4 is 20, 24, 28, 32. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 multiples of 4. Now I'm going to make some multiples of 6, starting with the lowest multiple. Least multiple is 6. 6 times 1, add 6 more is 12, add 6 more is 18, add 6 more is 24, 30, 36, and 6 more is 42. So that's a list of some multiples of 4 and 6. Now we want to find the smallest multiple they have in common. Well, first we can just find multiples they have in common. Well, both lists have 12. Both lists have 24. And remember from the last problem, these multiples will actually go on forever. They're, as far as we can go out, they'll be common multiples. Every 12 they'll have a multiple in common. But since we want the least common multiple, our multiple of interest is 12. So we're going to write least common multiple of these two numbers is 12. Let's look at the next one for 5 and 10. So I'm going to start with a few multiples of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'll put the dot, 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 which means keep going in this manner. For 10, some of its first multiples are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and we can continue on in this manner. So again, that's the multiples, or you can use that idea of skip counting by counting every 5 numbers. Now the ones they have in common, well, they both have 10, so I'm kind of looking at both lists at the same time. We're scrolling through this one and see where they correspond. They both have 20, they both have 30. So notice they're going to have a common multiple every 10. 10, 20, 30. So actually all of 10's multiples will be a common multiple. And our least common multiple is the smallest multiple, which is 10. Now let's look at a few more problems. Find the least common multiple of 3 and 7. So let's start making our lists. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I'm going to put dot, dot, dot. And now let's do the first multiples of 7. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 7 is 21, plus 7 is 28, plus 7 is 35, dot, dot, dot. Now notice they don't have any numbers in common in these lists, at least not yet. This means, so this is why we have to make our lists until the 2 lists share a common multiple. Sometimes you're going to have to go out a little bit further. So let's go back to our our list, and I'm going to keep working on 3 since it's a little bit smaller, and see if we hit any of these numbers down here. So 18, 21, 24, oops, and actually notice 21 is in the multiple list for both 3 and 7. So let's highlight 21. And their next one would be multiples of 21, so 42 and then 63, but 21 is their least common multiple. Notice in this case that their least common multiple is actually the product of 3 and 7. 3 times 7 is 21. So this happens, you'll come to see, when the two numbers don't have any factors in common besides 1. So we have to go to 3 times 7 to get 21, and 7 times 3 to get 21. So the least common multiple of 3 and 7 is 21. Okay. Last problem, we have 3 numbers, and we're just going to have to make 3 lists. Okay, so starting with 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So there's the first, let's see, 8 multiples of 2. And I'm going to move on to 6. So 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 6 is 18. Plus 6 is 24. And this is already getting bigger than our first list, so I'm going to stop there for now. I may have to go back, I'm not sure. And now multiples of 8. 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 8 more is 24. 8 more is 32. So now let's take a look at our lists. So I'm going to look at 2, and I'm going to look for common factors between 2 and 6. So notice 2 and 6 both have a common factor of 6. But notice that is not in 8's, not common factor, common multiple, but that is not in 8's list of multiples, so we can't use that. Okay? 8 is a multiple of 2 and 8, but it's not in the list for 6, so we're going to keep going. Looking at 10, nobody has 10 but 2. 12, 6 has 12, but 8 doesn't. 14, neither 6 nor 8. 16, well, 8 does, but 6 doesn't. So it looks like we're going to have to continue on a little bit further with our multiples of 2. So let's make some more multiples. And I'm noticing they have 24 in common, so if I continue on in this list, 18, 20, 22, and 24 is a multiple of 2 because it's even. Now I have my first common multiple, or the least common multiple, of all 3 numbers. So 24, 24, 24. Now we'll just write that here. So the least common multiple of these 3 numbers is the first multiple all 3 have in common, which is 24.